Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of the Ticats Offseason Roundup presented by WeatherTech. I am your host, digital host Louie B for the Hamilton Ticats. Very pleased today to be joined by defensive coordinator Mark Washington, as well as defensive tackles Teddy Laurent and Dylan Wynn. Gentlemen, so great to see you. Thanks so much for giving some time here this afternoon to chat. Really, really great to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Appreciate you having.
Let's just start with an easy one. Let's just toss it out there. What have you been up to? It's been a while since we've seen your smiling faces. Coach Washington, what have you been up to? How you been staying busy? How you been staying focused?
Well, I've been staying focused because we got a season coming up, and so that's been my focus. Been busy trying to cook up ways to get 22 sacks out of the two gentlemen on the screen with us. You know what I mean? So between two of them, try to get 22 sacks out of them. So that's a full-time gig. You know, so that's what I've been busy up to.
Teddy, what have you been up to? How are you keeping busy?
Oh, man, I got to spend more time with family, being around my son a lot, man, being around, my lady, just being around them. And then I taught a few kids, a few things about pass rush down in Florida. So doing those two things to keep me busy. And crazy as it might sound, I read a few books, man. I've been reading a lot of books lately, man.
Yes.
Yeah, my last book I read was the five love language. I read that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a
I'm
great
surprised
book.
your wife didn't make you read that before you got married.
Yeah, I read that. I've been watching a few podcasts, and they've been talking about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me get that book, and it was really good.
Okay, Ted.
Coach, I know you preach reading. Sorry, Dylan. I know you preach reading. So how proud of you to see Teddy picking up a couple of books?
And you know what? When I hear that, I'm so pleased. I'm excited. But then the actual book, that's a quality read. You know what I mean? That's a suggested reading regardless. So that 5 love languages, was it Gary Chapman?
Yeah, Gary Chapman. Yeah.
No, that's a must. Louis, have you read it?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Then you wasting your time. You need to get that book.
As soon as this podcast is over, I'm borrowing one of your copies because apparently all three of you, Wynn, you said you read that book, eh?
Yep. It was part of the contract negotiations of my marriage. So
Teddy brought up a good point though, because like I said, I've done a couple of these with some guys, and a lot of them will talk about the special time that they've been able to spend with their families, with their wives, with their kids. So I mean, you don't want to call it a blessing in disguise because it's been such a tough year for so many people. But is there an aspect of this last year getting to have that special time that normally here you are at the peak of your career that you would not normally have?
Yeah, that's. I like to look at the silver linings of things personally. Great quote was, the only difference between fear and faith, they both got to do with the future, but it's your outlook. It's stuff that you can control. And I just had a daughter, so my little girl's about 8 months now, and just being able to see her grow has been great. Being able to spend time with my wife has been great. But on the football aspect of stuff, really having time to dial in and get corrections to my body that I might not have been able to in other circumstances. So, I don't think it's not good to dwell on the sad and the dumps, So, if this is an excellent time for a lot of players to be able to self-improve, not just on the field, but in their family lives. And I think it's great. And it's, I would be lying if I said I wasn't itching to hit somebody for sure, but it's been cool.
Hit someone that's not one of your brothers, I'm sure, right?
They don't let me hit them anymore. Yeah.
True. Coach Washington, he brings up a good point there, is that something that I've seen you preach, I've heard you preach, is that you don't just want good foot players, you want good men. And just right there, in the first 5 minutes of this conversation, Teddy and Dylan have kind of demonstrated the type of men they are off the field. When you came into this job in 2019, was that something you made a point to set day one, that hey, listen, you could be as good as you want on the field, but if you're not a great person off the field, then this isn't going to work?
Well, that's a part of our environment. That's a part of the this organization. Things that have been set out, from the top, from caretaker Bob all the way through. You know, stresses all the time, and these guys know it. You know, it's all about having the right men in the room. And we know that these two guys here are two of the greatest men in our room. And you know, you want the proper, because see, here's the good thing. You know, all the talent in the world is great, and you want guys that can, you know, that are really, really talented. And these two right here, in my opinion, are two of the best right here in our league for sure. The talent is great, but you know, the person inside, you're always going to be that person. So if you're lazy, if you're a lazy guy, you're going to be lazy off the field, you're going to be lazy on the field, you're going to be lazy all the time. You know, and that's the kind of person that you are. You can't divorce one from the other. You can't say, I'm a certain way on the football field, and I'm another type of person. No, that who you are, that character bleeds everywhere in your life because that's who you are. And so eventually all of that comes out. So having the guys with the right character, the right you know, stuff inside of them, that's what's most important. And that's when we say, all right, we got to find the right guys in the room. You know, that's what it's all about.
And Teddy, I mean, you've been in the room a while now, right? You've been a big part of this Ticats organization for the last few years. And like Coach Washington said, like, you know, it does start at the top down. It starts with caretaker Bob, but then having Coach O in that room too, the type of leader Coach O is in the room, I get the sense that he motivates other people who may not lean towards leadership to be the best that they can be.
Yeah, he's definitely a coach a lot of guys want to play for. Like I said, Coach O and I go way back since 2014 when I first came with the Hamilton Ticats. And like when we first met, like I knew like this is the type of coach I want to play around for. This type of man he made me become. And like I'm really glad that I've been around this Ticat organization and been around him all those years.
Yeah, and Dylan, just continuing on that point on Coach O, you know, it's hard to believe that last year was his first year as a head coach in this organization, right? Because he just made it look so easy last season. How did he accomplish that?
He's the same man he's always been. And I mean, I've had the blessing to know him for a short amount of time, but if you talk to anybody that knows Coach O, everyone says the same thing. He's the same man that he always is. He doesn't change who he is. You know, he sticks to what he knows. And at his core, he's a great guy. And it makes you want to fight for him. It makes you able to relate for him. You know, like you're able to have these sincere connections. And you know, you attract what you put out. He has sincerity. He puts out sincerity. And so everyone in our locker room, like Coach Washington was saying, is good dudes and sincere guys. And we really care and put in the passion and the work to what we do. And it just makes an amazing work environment.
And Coach, what we have been able to see, you know, a lot of guys didn't even bother testing out free agency. They signed, you know, before that February 14th. Guys wanted to be here, not just who were here last year, but who weren't here last year. And I was talking to Jovan Santos Knox about this, and he said a lot of guys they want to see what they're doing in Hamilton. They want to be a part of that. So what do you attribute that to?
Like we said, it's the culture and the environment that has been set here, the expectations that have been set here. People see when they see it on the field, you know, they see execution, they see, you know, scheme and all that kind of stuff, but they see the joy that the men have playing and the joy that we have coaching and interacting with one another. You know what I mean? And that makes it fun. And winning helps too, you know. So you cook all of these ingredients together, you're gonna have yourself a pretty good recipe. And I think that's what people see, and players see it around the league, so they want to be a part of it or they want to run away from it. One of the two.
Teddy, what, you know, we get to sit in the front row, you know, I get to sit in the front row to see you guys on the field, but I also get to see you guys behind the scenes. Fans don't get to see what goes on behind the scenes a lot of the time. So to that point, what do you miss?
That might be a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, I know. But what do you miss?
You know,
what do you miss most about, you know, the kind of behind the scenes stuff, the stuff
I
away
miss
from
Ted.
the football field?
I was about to say I miss Wynn.
I miss Ted. Nah, don't let Ted make you lie now, all right? Listen.
You
I forced Ted to be my friend. 100%. Ted,
That is
you
true.
know,
That is true.
I forced him day one, sat next to him. He's like, why are you sitting next to me? Every couple meetings, I'd ask him another question, get to know him a little bit better. You know, Ted's a great guy, but he's like an onion. You got to do some peeling. You know, you got to get down to the core.
I agree. It took me a while, but I'm like, yeah, he's a good dude, man. I'm glad, you know, he went that he tries his hardest to get to know me, and I appreciate that. But he's a really good dude.
was there a certain? Did you notice the switch? Did either of you notice the switch where you're like, man, what's this guy doing? Like, get away from me. To the point where, like, yeah, you know what, he's not bad. Or was it just like he constantly kept going, kept peeling back until you're like, I got no more layers left, man. Like, you're stuck.
I'm a persistent guy, and to be honest, you know, I wasn't sure if Ted still liked me towards the end of the season, so I'm playing. You know, he doesn't answer my calls sometimes. So no, Ted and I work great together, and I mean, we always talk about we stand on the shoulders of the greats that came before us, and I'm in a lucky situation where I'm not only standing on shoulders, but I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with one of them, one of the best that's, you know, ever played in the CFL, and definitely one of the best that's played in Hamilton. And just being able to learn from a true great like Ted has just been amazing for my career and my mental stability, to be honest, because having somebody next to me like that who can also joke around, and Ted's a great guy. And so, like I said before, the work environment in Hamilton's great, and that's why you see everybody signing back and coming. It's not just Ted; it's all of our leaders are great people, from Speedy B to Masoli to Dane to, you know, up and down the field. It's just great men.
Yeah, Teddy, I mean, to that point, talk about the great men on some of this team. Like you said, 2014, we were talking to Simone about this. Like, that's when you guys first kind of got to Hamilton here. Coach O was here at the same time. I mean, like, it feels like we've been building towards something with this organization. And, like, here we are in 2021, the Grey Cup's being played here in Hamilton. Like, a lot of fans think it's destined, but there's still a lot of work to be done before you get to that point.
Yeah, it is a lot of work to be done, but you know, I've been through ups and downs with this organization from 14 to 2021. I remember in 2017, we didn't win that first game until Labor Day, so we've been through tough time. But you know, it's a thing that we preach, that the one thing that's guaranteed is adversity, and you know, I've been there, and like I said, like I really I like this team, and I feel like going forward, like this. You know, we're about to do something special.
And Coach, do you feel like because I know Coach O said, you know, the Grey Cup happened, whatever, it happened. We can't change it. You know, every day that passes, it's another day. But do you still feel like, because there's been such a long time off since you last played that field, that first game, you know, you're going to have to be like, okay, boys, like let's hold back a little bit, because you are going to be so amped up to prove what this team can do.
No, I'm not holding these dudes back. I'm letting them go, man. Let the bulls out the cage. You know what I mean?
No, Coach, let them know, man.
Yeah, it's no holding back. It's letting.
Man, you can't sit us down for this long and then think you're gonna hold. Coach O can't hold us back on that. Like, we're waiting. Yeah. We're waiting. We're being patient.
It's time. And you know, you know, the past is the past. You're not going to change it. You know, whatever you want to do with it, if you want to use it for motivation or whatever, it really doesn't even matter, man. You know, because it's yesterday. You can't control that. You can only control what's coming up. You know, and these men have been, you know, awesome, and they're going to continue to be awesome because that's who they are. And so we're going to continue to push forward, move forward, and get ready for that first game and the second, and on and on and on. And then, you know, we'll make sure that we want to end this season the way we really want to.
Dylan and Teddy, I want to get to this question, because you guys obviously, you line up right beside each other. You guys go against, you know, some of the toughest offensive linemen in the league. You got some of the toughest assignments, but you guys still manage to put up some huge numbers. So are there certain plays where you guys break the huddle, you kind of like look at each other and you know, like, one of you is going to do something big there? Or like, what's that like? Like, what's that like coming out of a huddle, thinking you know you got the play, and then delivering with a big sack?
Every play. Every single play. With the weapons that we got on our D-line, that's every single play. And it's from Ted's dirty rip move to JG's Euro step to Hauser's spin move, like any play can be that play, and that's why it's so much fun. At least that's how I feel about it. We're a dangerous D-line, and it's fun being dangerous.
Teddy, you share that feeling?
Yeah. No, it's been games where like, let's say like Wynn probably started with a sack, and then Hauser get a sack, and then me and JG looking like, man, these two guys sack. We got to get a sack. So it helps sometimes. Like, it motivate guys to make a play. So when somebody start to play, like everybody else want to jump in and make a play as well. You don't want to be left out. You don't want to be that guy.
If you look at the season, if you look at the 19 season, it was these two guys that started the sack train in the season. Like the edges, it was the inside guys who started getting all the sacks in the middle. Teddy and Wynn hit, and then JG, and then Housey and all that. Then they started to catch up. But when you go back and watch the tape, it's like these two cats. They started the sack train, man.
You brought up the stats, and obviously, the points allowed last season was a franchise best, was a league best, but you didn't lead the league in sacks. So is that something that you kind of stick with at the end of the day, Coach? That okay, that's going to be us at the end of next year. Like we're going to be leading the league least amount of points, most sacks. Like, do you set those individual targets for your group, or do you just do the best you can, and those are after the fact?
These are all, goals, attainable goals that we set to our, this is what we want to do, but it all has to fall in line with us being champions. We could be last in sacks as long as we're champions. It doesn't even, like, champion is the goal. That's the thing. Now, are these components that's going to help you win a championship? Of course. We know the things that we like to do as a defense and as an organization. Scoring is obviously, it's football. You want to keep the team out of the end zone. You want to keep the points low. Best way to do that is taking the ball away and affecting the quarterback. Well, that's what these guys do. So, we're at the top of sacks, great. If we're number one, great. As long as we're number one overall at the end of the season with the championship trophy, that's the only thing that matters at this point.
All right, gentlemen, I feel like I've kept you long enough here. Thank you so much for doing this. I do want to finish with this last question here because sooner rather than later, we hope we're all back in Hamilton. So it hasn't been a while since we've been to Hamilton, or you guys have been in Hamilton. So I do want to ask what you're missing about the city. What is something, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a certain food from Hamilton, what are you missing from the city of Hamilton right now? Dylan, you look like you got your answer, so I'm going to let you go first on this.
I got a lot. First of all, I got to give a shout out to my 5-star cafe. What's up, guys? Miss y'all. Those are my, that's my second family away from home. They're fun. Next thing, okay? I miss oxtail, mac pie, and all that good stuff, man. I miss the fire food back out. Oh, Hamilton, everything from there to even the all-you-can-eat sushis to
yeah.
Ted, right. Ted and I will go to all-you-can-eat sushi, and you see they start like clearing out, acting like they're not there.
The lights turn off and the blinds come down. Yeah, they're like, we ain't here.
Just everything on Main Street, man. We go up and down. I miss the Novem burgers. I miss the waterfront. I just miss Hamilton, and really excited to get back there.
We got a couple of answers that we got earlier where Speedy's missing his birthday cake Timbits. Dane just wants a double. Like people want the basics, but that might have been the best answer we've gotten so far. So no pressure.
Hell's Kitchen, man.
What do you missing?
Yeah, go talk about Hell's Kitchen,
man. Yeah, King's West.
Man, all these places are gonna welcome you back with open doors after this airs.
My bad, Lulu Shawarma too. I love them too.
Oh yeah.
Man, I gotta give my spots shout outs, man.
They got all the Tie Cats gear hanging up there. Great spot to stop by for some
always take care of us. They're great people.
Teddy, what are you missing?
I'm to the D-line dinner, going to Shoes Joe's, the good times, Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, yeah, I'm in those places.
There you go. Mark, Coach Washington, finish us off here. What are you missing most about Hamilton?
Well, I'm here, man. So
there we go. Perfect.
I went to Ellis last week. You know what I mean?
Hey, I still have my gift card saved next to my passport. I'm ready to go. That's the first meal when I hit Hamilton.
Hey, man. Hey, let me tell you, I went there last week, and they got some new stuff on the menu. So I missed the weather y'all having over there, but
yeah,
I'm good, man.
Yeah, you gotta start posting all the pictures now just to make these guys jealous. Well, thank you guys for doing this. Like I said, I do appreciate it. I know fans appreciate it as well. This is kind of our first introduction into podcasts. I don't think we could have asked for 3 better guests to finish off this new series we're launching. So thank you for doing this. And like I said, just can't wait to see you guys back here in Hamilton.
No problem,
My pleasure, man. Ask you, we can't wait to get back.